Well, this is Little Red, or at least where she's starting. It's a 2022 F450. It's the short cab, obviously, the two-door, long bed dually. And for many reasons, I went with this particular setup. I don't need four doors. I don't need the length. This has just slightly longer wheelbase than a Jeep Gladiator. It's, of course, a lot wider and a lot heavier. But it's also got, much larger, heavier axles that can actually accommodate the wheels I'm going to run and the tires. It's got the Super Track Wide Track 60 in the front and the M300 in the rear. And we'll go ahead and do a walk around. You can take a look at the truck before we start. It's the XLT model. It's nothing fancy. Main purpose of this build is for off-road recovery and maybe equipment recovery. No rock crawling, not for this rig. Maybe I'll build my Jeep for that. But we're going to be removing the duals from the rear and putting a single in. The tires are 365/80 R20s, I believe is what they are. I've already started some of the removal over here, as you can see. Tires and lift kit are right in here. The lift kit itself is from Carly Designs. The tires I got and the wheels I got from DBL Designs down in Texas. Same thing with the Gen 2 Fender flare kit that he has. I also got his 617 gear set. There's some talk about quality on the 617 gear set, but there's really nobody else making a correct gear set for tires this size. At least not for these axles. I mean, technically there's not even lockers for either of these axles listed as compatible with any of the locker companies. Now it's a Dana 60 up front, and technically some of the Dana 60 lockers will work with this axle, even though it's not listed as compatible. The M300 in the rear, however, I have no idea. Working on a locker on that. Hopefully they can do a mechanical locker of some form or another. Otherwise, I'm just going to have to be happy with the LSD. We'll see how this all works out. There were a couple of options for the wheels and tires, but this was the most economical. And these are not one-piece wheels, so they can be broken down and repaired in the field if necessary. That's kind of nice. Not that I'd want to. They weigh 250 pounds each. So that's kind of the start. We're going to be initially removing the front end of the truck, the bumper, the grille, the lights, the fenders, and installing these Gen 2 fenders here. There's very little information on this, especially on the 450. There's brackets that are included with no instructions, so we're going to be figuring it out and sharing with everybody just how this installation goes. That's the start of it. Hopefully this goes fairly smoothly, right? And well, we'll see how it turns out.
Hi.
Brand new tools, they don't cooperate, do they? Mine's not that easy. I love those videos. It's not even close to that easy. I'm going to pull all this out. Nothing's impossible, so we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Let's go. It's so light. Wow.
Here we go. I mean, it did run over a small car and without damage, so. Yeah. So you don't need to remove the lower.
Yep, the little windshield. Cool.
1, 2, 3, 4, and then there was 2 on the side here, 1 and 2. And of course you could remove with this bracket as well, I suppose. So those are those 2 in there, but it's the same number of bolts. And same over here. Every step I change out a bag, so the front bumper got its own bag with labels with all the bolts in it. The grill and headlights are going to get their bag. If you do this, and when you're taking videos, it makes things a whole lot easier when you got to put something back together. I used to do it the other way, and it always went back together, but I had more, random nuts and screws left over than I do now.
There's always at least one thing left over, right? Or you didn't do it right. And it just comes right off.
That's my mean dog. Alrighty. That gives me time to finish taking the fenders off. Alrighty, cool. Bye. So this is that glue that I was saying. So you want to use like a putty knife to dislodge as much as you can, and in this upper section you can't reach. So there's that inside bolt, and then there is one more under the trim.
Point to that again.
What, down here?
The inside bolt? Okay.
That bolt down there?
Yep.
And then there was one up on underneath the trim where the antenna is. It's a little bit, you're gonna need a little bit of coaxing into shape. It's off by about 1/4 of an inch. So what I'll do is I'll attach one side over here. You know, I'll get the bolts put in over here, and then I'll pull this into position and then run the bolts the remainder of the way.
Mm-hmm.
Basically like this. Now you might question the integrity of this, and I do too.
That was the first thing I said, dude. I was like, that's a little bit of metal replacing a lot of metal.
So the other thing to consider is I was going to run a bumper that was going to expose the front wheel. No, I'm not. And the bumper I'm going to run is it's pretty heavy duty. So I'm not really worried about this section being weak, because there's going to be a large steel bumper right in the way of this area right here. You know, much heavier than the stock bumper. This is where we're going to cut. So we're going to cut from about here up and over and right about there. So there's going to be about 3.5 inches cut out of this. That's as thick as a boat.
Holy cow, I just now
see this?
That picture does not do those tires justice at all.
Dude, crazy, man.
That is huge.
Yeah.
That's gonna look sick.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I can't wait. Let's go.
Yeah, let's do some work, guys. Y'all just sitting around. Come on, man.
Let me
All
get
right.
some
So
stuff
yeah,
out.
go ahead and get set up.
10 3/4 and 12 3/4. Still hot?
Yeah, it's still really hot. Right?
I'm gonna top this glass off.
Tossing 2 of them now.
Yeah, I'm just gonna put hot on it.
That's so hot right now.
Yeah, it'll fit.
It's gonna fit, no
I don't even need a lift. All right, so the man who helped me do this, his name's Brad Wilson. I'm going to give a link in the description here of this video for if anybody needs his metalworking services. He's great in the field. This was all done in the field. So as you can see over here on the front end, the bracket that was provided by DBL has been installed the way he said to install it. I got some response from him on this the last night, and it explained a few things. Wasn't really sure, but now I am. The work back here, you know, we just used a piece of diamond plate, and he doesn't have a TIG unit that's road transportable, so he literally did this with a stick weld. Now, I am going to have to come in on the inside edge here and in this area and use some seam sealer and around the back edge here, because you know, he couldn't quite get to those areas, and I didn't want to catch anything on fire. It sucks if you burn the truck down when you're trying to build it. So hopefully that's enough. It looks like it should be. I might even have gone a little bit extra strong on these. So one thing I want to show you is the fender. I've got one of the fenders pretty much mocked up. Yeah, there. So that's what that looks like when it's actually installed on the truck. Now one thing I am going to have to do is come in here at some point and install some type of a holding device for this front edge of the fender. It looks like to me the only thing that holds it in place is that when it bolts to the light, which would make the whole front edge there just hanging on plastic. And I don't like that. So what I'd like to do, there's a spot right in here where I can come in and put in a piece of metal, and I think me and Brad are going to do that later when we have a little extra time. Just something a little extra to hold that down on this lower edge. So my goal to finish off today is I got to go get some red paint to touch some of this stuff up. I need to get the seam seal in there and get it basically drying so that tomorrow I can get this all buttoned back up and drivable so I can take it to Big D's and have them start on the lift and gears and locker. So that's where we are for tonight. Okay, so I'm going to need you to... I'm just relieving this edge with little cuts so that it presses up without trying to warp and pull the whole thing. Worked pretty good on the other side, so...
Final couple.
I don't know why I pull these all the way. So, not 3 rivets in. This isn't one. Gun broke.
Literally 3 rivets.
If I could find my other rivet gun, it's probably 40 years old.
Oh my god. It's gonna fit no problem? Well, I
They
mean,
need to go up more.
you can do that by yourself? Oh my god.
Not really.
You might have to lower it to the perfect height.
Dude, it might not make it. It might just be too high. See what I mean? Like I am just inches.
The tires, so you need to go up a little bit more? Is that as high as that jack goes?
Like pretty much. I might make it though. Let's see.
Oh my god, dude.
Okay, test fit number 1.
Yep.
Pan just slid again.
No, that's actually a better line. That one was actually a better line. Okay.
So what I did was cut out the back fenders here a bit and relieve them for these tires. I don't have any material to use for an inner fender liner as yet. So this is the way it's going to be, but excuse me, I'm hoping the shop that I'm taking it to can do something about the inner fenders. But as you can see, they're going to fit pretty nicely, especially with another 2.5 inches of lift back here. And it looks like they'll even sustain a good squat before they have any interruption issues. So we're good. Oh, the wheel on this backside gets flipped around for obvious reasons to maintain your track. Otherwise, this wheel would be way underneath the truck there and wouldn't really actually fit.
This was tripping me out at first because, like, you know, you can see the inside of the wheel.
Yep.
Not used to seeing that. But I guess it makes sense because it's a dually. And so,
Well, the reason for doing it like this is so that you can rotate the tires too. It's the same front wheels, front and back, so you can rotate your tires. So you actually can get 50, 60,000 out of these instead of 20. Safety first. Now watch out, it's gonna come down a long way. Oh, that's it, huh?
So this is the old shoes. Pretty beefy, you know. Here's the new ones. Wow.
It's 247 pounds, but The shovel's all you need.
That's how you do it.
Alrighty, long day. We got a lot done. It's ready to go to the shop to get the lift. Gonna have to be very careful about turning. It's got a little interference both in the front and in the back right now with it sitting this low at stock height. Could not get the stock bumper to work. No, I mean I can, but it's going to take more time than I have tonight, so it's just going to stay off. And just going to back it up now, get it out of the driveway. Again, I can't turn it but about half a turn in each direction before it starts to rub, so just going to be real careful getting it out of the driveway, getting it to work, and then getting it to the shop, you know, tomorrow morning and tomorrow evening. Manageable to get in it now and out, but once it's got that 4.5 inch lift, it's not going to be manageable.
Oh my god. Look at that thing. Wow.